Mining experts, leaders, and innovators. That is what we discuss and bring to you on Mining Now. The show is brought to you by CIM in partnership with Crownsman Partners. We're very glad to be at MIMO 2019 in Kamloops, which is my hometown. Actually, I grew up in Deadman's Valley, but that's not why you're watching, to get my background. And on this episode, you're watching Andrew Cooper. Andrew is an energy specialist at New Gold. If you're in BC or Canada, you know who New Gold is. And Andrew Cooper, as the energy specialist, is going to be talking about harnessing hidden potential in energy. So, Andrew, thanks for coming on the show. Glad you could. It was a short notice, so thanks for letting us pull you in.
You're welcome. It's great to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah, it's how's the conference been so far?
The conference has been awesome. There have been some great presentations. The MIMO organizing committee have done a great job in putting it together, and the catering in the hotel has been superb.
I go to conferences all over the place, and the staff, everybody is just high energy. They're happy to be here, and it gives that vibe to a place. So yeah. It's really good. I'm going to walk through. I mean, you're an energy specialist. So, and I just wanted to kind of kick off with, there's been a lot of positive talk about the mining industry, and on this episode, but there is challenges that the industry is facing. So I wanted to kick off by putting those out in the forefront first, and then talking about the solutions. But what are sort of the challenges you're seeing in the mining industry that they're facing today?
Can you ask me a sports question, please? That's a very, very loaded question.
Yeah.
And every industry has its challenges in BC. The forest industry is going through all sorts of ups and downs.
It is.
But the mining industry has sort of unique challenges as ore bodies get deeper. It takes more energy to extract the ore, and mining industry is continually focused on trying to improve performance, trying to be as efficient as possible, trying to minimize waste, maximize efficiency. And that's really where I come in as an energy specialist and trying to help my company improve efficiency, minimize waste, maximize efficiency to get the ore out of the ground using the minimum amount of energy possible. And that's really solving one of the biggest problems, which is trying to do it efficiently and as cost effectively as possible with minimum impact on the environment.
Yeah. I want to circle back because you're with New Gold, and I want to get a little bit. The audience is watching, and there's going to be a lot of people that just want to know who you are. How did you end up at New Gold, and where you originally came from, and everything like that? Can you give us a little bit of the backstory?
Well, I'm not originally from around here, as you can probably tell from my West Tennessee accent.
Yeah.
I'm actually originally from Zimbabwe. Studied at university in South Africa and spent a large amount of my career in the gold mining industry and in South Africa. Mm-hmm. I was headhunted at one stage to come across to a salt mine in Ontario. Godred's Sifto salt mine, the largest underground salt mine in the world. And from then, I got a call from New Gold's new Afton Mine to come across here to Kamloops in beautiful British Columbia. Everybody wants to go west.
Yeah.
Come to a beautiful part of the world. It was an opportunity I couldn't turn down, and it's been a great experience.
So had you been out west before coming to New Gold?
Only once. We had friends coming to BC, and we flew across from Ontario to here to go on a Alaska cruise and meet them and show them the island. But other than that, we hadn't been out to this part of the world, so it was great. It was great coming out here.
Yeah, it is. I'm biased. I grew up here. It's a beautiful place.
I heard you from Kamloops.
Yeah. So you talk about the challenges, and I saw in your presentation, you got lower prices of gold, lower prices of copper. So now, and then the ore body's getting deeper. You're trying to be more efficient. So you've got a lower price, and you've got bigger challenges, and trying to be more efficient. How do you implement strategies that are going to improve efficiencies, especially on the energy side?
That's a great question, Jared. It's a multifaceted approach. We part of the BC Hydro Sustainable Energy Management Program, which really enables energy efficiency and energy improvement at the mine. We do a number of studies, projects to help us identify opportunities. But coming out of those projects, a lot of the opportunities identified are larger projects, significant capital cost. And over the course of the past 7 years, we have what we call our new Afton energy tree.
I saw that. Yes.
Yeah, and we've really taken that and we've plucked that proverbial low-hanging fruit off that tree. So all the big projects, easy wins, underground ventilation management, flotation blow control, compressed optimization, all done and dusted. What do we do now? And we sort of have to looking for, well, if we don't have big amounts of capital to improve efficiency, what do we do? How do we tackle those projects? The studies we do help us identify projects, but we also start going to our employees, and that's really the basis of what I was talking about in the presentation. Yeah.
Okay, I want to talk about the employees, how to get them involved, but I want to talk about that low-hanging fruit too. When you start, because New Afton specifically is, it's still a fairly new mine. What has that been now? 10? How many years has that been in? It was an old mine, but in the new operation.
Now, they started production in about June 2012. They officially started production. So it's been going 7 years now.
7 years.
Yeah.
And so that low-hanging fruit, were they able to implement a system in that low-hanging fruit that increased efficiency as opposed to a mine that would have been built 10 years? So were they able to make some of those more major steps right off the bat before they looked at those incremental things?
Well, one of the biggest things that it was an enabler for us was the plant was very, very well monitored and metered and a lot of instrumentation in place. We also put a lot of monitoring and metering in place right from the get-go, and that enabled us to identify opportunities. There's that old cliche that Robert Deming used to say, you can only improve what you can measure.
Right.
I know it's a terrible cliche, but it's absolutely true, especially
true.
in the improving efficiency. We had a good foundation of instrumentation in place, which has enabled us to identify opportunities and really focus on what are the big wins to tackle and prioritize those.
Yeah, and now you go into, now you've got this amazing mining operations employing a lot of people. Well, I said to you off the air, a lot of people that I knew grew up with. Now they're working out there, and I see their nice trucks they're driving, and so it's just a great thing locally here. But now you've got to get input. You've got the operation, and now you've got all these minute things that you want to increase efficiency. And you said that's about employees. What does that look like from a strategic standpoint, laying that out so that people can put input?
Well, we had an interesting scenario at the end of 2018. Our final business plan had been approved, and we had this big energy savings target to achieve. And we realized that, hey, we haven't got any capital money for next year in the following year's budget to achieve that objective. So we turned to our employees, and we identified that the employees were a treasure trove of opportunities. They held the map to this energy treasure, and their hidden potential, or their creativity and innovation, was the key to unlock that chest. So we decided to harness that hidden potential, and we actually set a target to achieve 50% of our objective through the implementation of not one or two big energy savings projects, but through the implementation of many low or no cost projects, primarily based on the feedback and suggestions from our employees. And
Wow.
it was something we decided we haven't got money. Let's hit this hard and go to our employees and ask them how they can help us achieve our objective.
That must have been amazing. I mean, when you get hired as a company, you're not necessarily expected. You're expected to do a job. You're not necessarily expected to provide a whole bunch of input to basically contribute on that sort of that larger scale of thing. That must have been a bit of a culture shift, isn't it?
That's also an excellent question. And New Afton Mine has a fantastic culture. We have a great culture with our employees. We have a very pro-change workforce, I guess you could say, where folks are keen to try things, keen to innovate, and very focused on the success of the mine. So it may seem that, why do I have to give input to help improve the mine where I'm getting paid? But guys have really been on it and have really jumped on board and helped make it a reality.
Yeah. Well, that's what we find. Even doing this little show, we find people they like to share. When they have an idea, they have knowledge. If you're willing to listen to them, they will tell you what they think is a better idea. But when you're working at a scale and you have so many employees, how do you facilitate that in a practical way? Just going through and gathering all that data. Where do you start?
Well, we focused on doing three things because in the past we hadn't had many formal suggestions. But so we said, well, how do we get more formal suggestions? So we focused on three things: incentivize, simplify, and recognize. So we wanted to incentivize employees to give us suggestions. BC Hydro played a big role in that as well because part of their sustainable energy management plan, they give us funding for employee awareness. And so we utilize the funding from BC Hydro to purchase prizes, and we incentivize people to make suggestions, and we gave random draws for prizes for people who made suggestions. And that really incentivized people to get on board and make suggestions. We wanted to make it simple for people, as simple as possible to manage. So we utilize technology. We have a fantastic sort of IT infrastructure.
Okay.
We've got a good SharePoint online system. We utilized Microsoft Power BI, which we're really embracing as a fantastic tool. So we set up online SharePoint tools where people could go to access an online suggestion form with just one click from the homepage.
Right.
Unless you type like I do, it's very quick to quick to fill in, and the guys could easily monitor, manage that, and we recognize people through notifying prize winners through site-wide communication bulletins. Supervisors notify their crew members, and those three things combined really help to improve or enhance the number of suggestions coming through. We received 127 suggestions in just 20 weeks, which was phenomenal, and the results so far have been awesome.
Is that now? Were these suggestions coming from all levels, or do you sort of? I run a company as well, so I'm very interested, just on a personal level, of how you facilitate something like this. Do you do it at every level? Do you get managers that are managing groups of people to sort of step up and do it, or do you kind of open it up to the company? How do you get people to kind of go into it?
Well, that question leads into a great outcome from the campaign. It was open to everyone. All employees across all levels of the mine site. And the great thing was that it proved that the whole mine was engaged in employee awareness. We have a slogan, Energy Matters. This campaign really hit the fact that energy matters at New Afton. We had suggestions from human resources to mill operations, mine ops to procurement, maintenance to finance. All departments across the mine were engaged. And that was one of the most exciting things to see. It wasn't just the operational units, but everyone was involved in saying, what can we do to improve it?
Yeah, I saw, and then to facilitate that is one thing. Now you got to put it all into action. That's the next level. And I saw you sent me sort of your presentation. It said what gets recognized gets repeated. And then I thought that's very interesting. And I got to read through most of it, but I was a little bit rushed. So I wanted you to kind of expand on that. What do you mean by that? Is that the giving of the suggestions, or the way people are operating at the site itself?
Well, there were two levels of recognition that we sort of identified. First of all, was to recognize the prize winners. We said, okay, these are the people who won the prizes. The supervisors would publicly recognize their crew members who had made suggestions. So that was the one sort of almost one-on-one recognition process.
Yes.
The second part was feedback. And we felt feedback was an important component of the recognition process, because feedback lets people know you hear them, you value their suggestion, and that you're taking action. I mean, let me ask you, Jared, if you've had a time where you've been asked for and submitted a suggestion or submitted feedback, and then you've received an automated response, thank you for your feedback. We value your opinion.
Yeah.
The next time you do a transaction, nothing's changed.
Yeah.
How do you feel? What do you do? And we didn't want people to feel, I've made a suggestion, it's being ignored. So we
it's
really
just going into a bin somewhere kind of thing, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, a lot of people had those old suggestion box. You pop it in the box and it sits there and gathers dust for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
So we had using Power BI, SharePoint workflows again, we had a system where people were notified of a suggestion. They received feedback every time their suggestion was updated as it was processed. And the energy team we have in place really helped facilitate this process and get the suggestions moving and action going on those suggestions.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Does that, I was going to, when you come on the show, like we've done our show, the Crownsman podcast, and now we're working with CIM doing mining now, and we're very happy that mines are coming on. There is, to be forthright, there was some hesitation. For one, is this media? Am I going to go after the mines or something like that? And really trying to communicate that we're trying to facilitate information and promote mining going forward. And so I'm very glad you came on the show. And I want to sort of transition out from, because it is amazing. I've been a part of companies, and you're trying to get feedback, you're trying to get buy-in from people to give their honest answers, and trust that the company's actually listening, that they're going to, you're not going to almost be penalized for saying something could be better. What do you, now if you turn outward to other companies, anybody who's listening, not just mining companies, but supply companies, manufacturers, what would you sort of suggest as a place to start in getting this input from every level of the company?
Be genuine about when you ask for feedback. Don't pay lip service to it. I've seen many applications of people asking for feedback, and it goes absolutely nowhere. People want to be heard, they want to be listened to, and they're a great resource for helping you achieve your objective and showing genuine concern, genuine interest in what people have to say, and acting on that. I don't believe that everybody who makes a suggestion expects that it will necessarily be done.
Right.
And so don't have that expectation. You can't do everything. And so, but let people know you've seen it and you've taken it. There've been, if you take a moment to look at a company, I'm sure you will find hundreds of suggestions to improve efficiency, safety, production, just discarded or ignored like a single sock.
Yeah.
And I think a suggestion campaign effectively implemented can be a bridge over the link between management thinking employees are not engaged and employees thinking that management are not listening. I think that could be an effective bridge to make that happen.
Yeah. And to close, I'm curious, and I'm always curious about anything that is new to a company that they put into place. Was the result you got the result you expected? Were you pretty sure you'd get this kind of input from everyone, or were you surprised at how engaged people were?
I was a bit hesitant going into it. We set a big lofty target. We had no capital, and where we can actually achieve it.
Yeah.
Did we stretch too far? But the results have exceeded all expectations. Employees have delivered. We've already exceeded 90% of the target we set, and we're actually well on track to achieve our entire 2019 energy objective, primarily
Wow.
through the implementation of employee suggestions and feedback. It's been a great success, and employees at New Afton have really just shown that energy does matter at the mine.
Andrew, I know you have another, I'm watching the clock here because I know you have another event to get to. Thanks for coming on the show. What I like about this particular interview is it's not just about mining. I think anybody in doing any company watching this interview can pull something from it. So I appreciate you coming on and taking the time. I really do.
Yeah, Jared, great to meet you, and
Okay.
thanks for the opportunity.
Thanks, Andrew.
Okay, man. Bye.
We're going to do a quick sign-off to here. Thanks for watching. If you just watch that interview, like I said to Andrew just now, there is so much information that you can get and tips. Really do take it seriously. I've been an employee. I've managed employees. And when you genuinely listen, you will see the difference as obviously New Gold has. Thank you for watching. However you're watching, whatever platform, subscribe, follow. Thank you for CIM for bringing this together. We're very proud at Crownsman Partners to be working with them. And thank you again, Andrew, for coming on the show. Please follow us, and we'll see you on the next episode.